Hello, folks. Welcome to Social Media News Live. I'm Jeff C., and you're not.
And I'm Grace Duffy, and this is the show that keeps you up to date on the world of social media. And because we are Social Media News Live, we are coming to you today with a roundup of all the social media news that I don't want to say missed. We didn't really miss it, but
Right.
there's certainly a lot going on. And we wanted to do this roundup today or this week of all the news that's been going around because there's definitely a lot to talk about.
And it always is a changing. And in fact, if you guys are watching this, hopefully I am on the stage right now at VidFest over in Orlando. I'm excited to be there. So if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for doing that. I also want to do a big thank you and shout out to our friends over at Ecamm. You can find out more about them at socialmedianewslive.com/Ecamm. They're amazing. They sponsor the show each week. They are what makes the show possible, what the platform we are streaming on, where I can bring Grace up on screen and have lower thirds and all the cool stuff. But right now they're doing a really neat thing with our friend Stephanie Liu. If you go to ecamm.tv/live selling, they're talking all about live selling and not just Amazon Live. All this new live selling that's coming across is kind of a phenomena over in the Asian markets. Well, brands here in the States are taking notice, and they're really starting to ramp up their presence. So if you have any interest in live selling, or if you want to kind of be on the cutting edge of all that kind of stuff, make sure you go to ecamm.tv/live selling. It's a great series. It's going to be a total 8-week series by Stephanie Liu. I think there's probably 5 or 6 left. So you can go back and watch the replays, but make sure you guys go check that out at ecamm.tv/live selling. Once again, thank you to our friends over at Ecamm for sponsoring the show, socialmedianewslive.com/Ecamm. All right, Grace. Social media news roundup. So much stuff is going on. We haven't really skipped over it, but we just like to there's so much stuff going on that we want to package it all together for easy digestion, I guess, is what we're talking about. So
I guess every once in a while we should do a show on social media news, right?
Yeah, yes, exactly. We do talk about social media news, but this is like news, like news. So we're going to be talking right about, for this first time, TikTok. So kind of break down all this TikTok news that we got going on.
Absolutely, Jeff. Well, as you know, TikTok has been spending a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of money on creators. I think all the sites, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, have all understood for a very long time that people come to their platforms for the content. They come to see interesting people like us. They come to see their friends. They come to see influencers talking about the different things that they love. They want to see creators. TikTok, of course, has been the most ambitious and intentional about rewarding creators. And this past week, they launched something called Brand Admission, which is their creator monetization and a user generated content promotion process. Now that's a lot to digest. It sounds very, very dense, but let
Right.
me break it down to you and break it down for you. It gives smaller creators the opportunity to be discovered by brands. So they're rolling out this new feature that makes it easier for brands to connect with creators, especially those with smaller followings. So TikTok is making it easier for them to make money off of their clips and then enable them essentially to be part of these brand content challenges. And then the brands themselves have all of this user generated content that they can then use within their promotional marketing campaigns. Creators who are at least 18 years old and have at least 1,000 followers, which, in TikTok parlance is not really
Not
that
too big.
many,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's not too big, right? It's pretty easy to have that. And you're eligible to participate in these branded missions. It is the TikTok says that it is the industry first ad solution that enables advertisers to crowdsource authentic content from creators on TikTok. So,
So I like this because once again, the more stuff they do for creators, the other platforms have to take notice and hopefully starts paying, creators more and everything. In fact, I think Pinterest has a creator program where they're actually paying creators now, and I think that is because of all the creator funds and stuff that we've been seeing over on TikTok. Because I think until this if this wouldn't happen, I don't think those other platforms would be doing it. So I think
no,
it's all good. is what
I
I
think
think.
TikTok is eating everyone's lunch. I think they've
Yeah,
shown that like having this content first attitude,
right,
because on TikTok you're not following the people necessarily, although you do find people that you like.
right.
You're following the type of content, the topics. But there's an interesting stat that I found in from Sprout Social, some research that they did, where they're saying that micro influencers, and by that they're saying people with under 15,000 followers. So it's
Mm.
just these
Right,
micro
right.
influencers, what they've identified, generates, I mean, look at this, $13.8 billion of revenue for brands.
Yeah.
Working with these micro influencers, $13.8 billion on these brands. So, and then I have some other insights on smaller content. But yeah, I have you ever I want to ask, have you discovered any new products because of TikTok or because any of these other platforms that you're really like you wouldn't have known about if you hadn't encountered that content or that person talking about it?
I don't know if there's any brand, but most of my TikTok viewing comes from my daughter forwarding me funny things. So I don't know if there's anything, there may be in some like tools in some ways that people are telling stories that I've liked over there, but nothing, not like Instagram. I mean, I still think most of the things that I see or purchase or ads that I like are on Instagram. Now, Instagram has a lot more ads, it feels to me, than what I get
Yeah.
on TikTok. And so maybe that's why, but I'm sure they're going to ramp it up. But I mean, once again, I think it's all good for creators
Mhm.
to have this competition. So yeah,
Absolutely. Good. It's a lot of and it enables people to make a living out of this because it does take time to
yeah,
create content. It does take time to, you look at some of the stuff, it's like what, 30 seconds, 1 minute, three
yeah.
minutes. It takes so long to just
It
film those.
does.
It's
It
like
does.
probably takes me long. It would take me longer to do a 1 minute video for TikTok than to do like two live streams in a day with you, Jeff. So
That's right. So yeah, it's true. So one of the things that I think is really interesting is that they're really diving into what we call those micro influencers, and we've talked about this on the show a lot before. When especially I'm thinking back to like Neil Schaefer when he was on, he talked a lot about the different sizes of influencers and how brands are really going towards those. And so if you haven't listened to that one, make sure you go back into our catalog and find the one with Neil Schaefer because that's kind of his specialty. But I think
yeah,
it's really cool that TikTok is diving into those because typically those small influencers have greater reach.
yeah.
The comments aren't drowned out and all this stuff. And so I think that this is going to be becoming more and more prevalent is that these micro influencers, 1,000 followers or a little bit more, are going to have a real good voice and actually get paid, like kind of what we're seeing on some of the other platforms like Pinterest and YouTube. Pinterest, I'm sorry, I go back to Pinterest, but because I got in the beta, I kind of can see behind the scenes. The thing I like
Mhm.
about it, it was like they had challenges and you would have a dollar figure associated with those challenges and it didn't have to deal with your follower count. It was like
Yeah.
if you post one idea pin a week for a month, you get X amount of money, which is really, really cool. I like that. It's a transactional thing. It feels like a contract. And so
Mhm.
I think more and more things are going to happen for these smaller influence and it's going to be create better content. So
Well, do
anyway,
you remember that story we did at the beginning of the year about the leggings that sold out? Like some influencer on
right, right.
TikTok,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and it just sold out those leggings for like 4 months. And I don't want to say it was like a nobody, 'cause it was just someone I wasn't
Right.
familiar with, but it was someone that like she just, I don't even think she was
Well,
talking about them. I think she just had them,
it's
right?
the same
So,
thing when they do those recipes that trend. Like you can't find those ingredients because it's trending on TikTok. That
yeah.
frothy coffee stuff, that one kind of coffee you're supposed to make. I mean
Yeah.
stuff like that goes crazy. So um,
No.
one of the other things that just broke. So this is kind of just breaking news as of when we recorded the show, is that TikTok is also testing gaming. They're doing this in Vietnam, and they say it's ahead of a major push into the space. So a company representative confirmed test of HTML5 mini games, saying we're always looking to enrich our platform and regularly test new features. Blah blah blah. Same thing they always say. But another report from TechCrunch said sources the product intelligence firm Watchful which says TikTok is working on a number of features for live streaming, which of course for us is very, very cool. They include games to help streamers engage with their viewers, including Pictionary-like games, a treasure box gifting experience that doled out coins to random viewers after a set period of time, and a shopping experience allowing viewers to browse through products from a live stream. So we talked earlier about Ecamm and the thing that Stephanie Liu is doing, this live stream shopping, but also this ways to engage people. I talk about him all the time because I think he does really cool stuff. Lou Mangello does a trivia thing now where the audience can vote and the people, it's crowdsourced and it tallies, and all this stuff is coming out, these third-party tools to allow engagement. It's right on the backs of the stuff that's going on over at Twitch. And the stuff they can do with gamers and coins and tip jars and all that kind of stuff. And it's moving into kind of the general public with some really cool interactive storytelling engagement kind of stuff. And I think it's so cool because being able to interact with your audience like that. I mean, Jim and Chris, who we had on 2 weeks ago, have this wheel of wonder where if you follow them on Amazon Live, they'll spin the wheel and you'll win a prize. Usually it's one of the products in their carousel. So that kind of stuff, I just really think is cool. And TikTok adding gaming, they're already killing it. And I think the other platforms are going to be scrambling to catch up. So what do you think, Grace?
Oh, I think that was great. I was just thinking about like if gaming content on TikTok. I wonder if I could just like do TikToks about my daily Wordles. I think if I did that,
are you a Wordle? Are you a Wordle junkie?
I am a Wordle junkie. It's but I really think that if I was to do a TikTok and I revealed the answer, like I'd be breaking some sort of social contract.
Everything bad. Like spoiler alert. Yeah, probably.
Spoiler alert, right? And or someone sees it or whatever, or they're like, "Oh my gosh, she can't spell." But I'm interested to see how this would roll out. And you mentioned Twitch, and a lot of Twitch is like it is about gaming, but it's more of like the interactive gaming. And I'm just wondering, like how that like.
Yeah, I have
be able to stream games or something like that. So,
but TikTok has the money, the funds, and the technology to do this kind of stuff. And so, when the HTML5 is kind of general, I think is when they said it was built on. We should ask your husband because he's like Mr. Gamer.
He's a gaming person.
Yeah, but the gaming. So like what was really intriguing to me is that when it doled out coins to random viewers, it's almost like a lottery, and that keeps people on your live stream. I just think stuff like that is really, really cool. That we've kind of had to jury rig before. So I think this kind of stuff would be really, really cool. So that's the breaking news on TikTok. Some more news is that TikTok has adds new tools to better enable users to credit originators of like trends and stuff. So one of the things amid TikTok's meteoric rise, one element that has been criticized for is its amplification of trends without credit to the originators. I mean, this is specifically highlighted in the platform's trending dance moves, with creators from Black communities, in particular, calling on TikTok to do more to acknowledge the origins of such within the app. I've seen a lot of dancers like, "Hey, that's my dance. What are you doing?" Not to me, because I don't dance, but anyway. But Daddy don't dance. Mama don't rock and roll. They're going to launch some new tools to better enable users to credit trend originators. With new educational prompts and videos that explain the importance of doing that. So TikTok says with the launch of these crediting tools, creators will have the ability to directly tag, mention, and credit a video in their description, showcasing the diverse voices on the platform and the strength of our community. Whether taking part of the latest trend, adding a punchline to a joke, or creating the next viral sound, creators can easily and directly cite their inspiration. So very, very cool that they're, you already had to do this with music. You have to use it like from their library and all that kind of stuff. So this added step to give credit, I think is really, really cool because, sometimes you even felt like, is this, you don't even know where it came from. Like,
right.
How would you even figure it out? So being able to tag people and mention them, I think is really, really cool and will give credit to where credit's due. So.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. So I see why creators or originators of trends really would care about this tool. And I think it's a great move on behalf of TikTok to bring, when it also brings attention to their best creators, their most, and to pinpoint who is starting things, who are starting the trends, right? We always get asked on this show, like, how do you hop on a trend? Well, these are the people that are starting trends. But why do you think this would matter for like a company or a brand that's on TikTok, Jeff?
Well, for me, one, it just makes it feel safer.
Yeah.
Like you're always worried. I mean, I've had friends who've they've been filming something outside or in a Disney park or something, and some music goes by and their stream is shut down because of the copyright claims or whatever. So I think giving credit where credit due is important. But before, it's just there's no way to really find out. The other thing is, if marketers are smart and they, our friends that do a good job creating trends or having something go viral, let's say Molly Mahoney, who's been on the show before, and Ian with his funny music that he does for his stories and stuff, if they get credit and then they get somebody tagging onto it, that to me is a good thing. I think there's no downside for me as a marketer. One, I'm giving credit to people. I'm protecting myself that I'm not going to, hey, that's mine. I'm going to do a lawsuit. And two, you have a chance of, if you're really creative, having something you do go viral. So that's what I think.
Or to find who is latching on to the trend or building trends, or talking about your company, or talking about as or whatever it is that you're selling, right? So if I was doing something for Restream, like find out the people who are making really great content about live streaming, and then invite them to come either showcase. You'll be able to showcase them or have them showcase us. I think it is absolutely cool,
and I think it's also going to help in the long run influencers. So if a brand is wanting to partner with an influencer and they can go back and see, well, this person has done like 5 trending things in the last 3 months. It's not going to be so much based on follower count. It's going to be like, these people started something and it could take off, and they could maybe do that for my brand, instead of like buying followers or have artificially inflated, numbers. This, you can say like, I've gone here, I've been tagged on this, this many times. This is how good my content is. So I think it's going to help influencers out as well.
Absolutely. I love it. So good. I think that's a roundup of TikTok news that we have
tons
this
of
week.
stuff. Yeah, very cool
Stuff. So moving on to YouTube, which is our favorite channel, my favorite channel. I don't know. I know yours.
That's what you work on.
That's my favorite channel. Yours is Pinterest. I know that. So YouTube launched a co-stream for live shopping. Are we noticing a trend here? Everyone is catching on to the live shopping fire. So in recent years, YouTube has been working to transform the platform into more of a shopping destination with product launches like shoppable ads, and more recently, the ability to shop directly from live streams hosted by creators. So YouTube teased an upcoming feature that it would make it easier for viewers to discover and buy with brands. So this is not available yet. It was just announced at a I forgot the event, but it was like some big press event. So this feature, explained by YouTube, would allow 2 creators. So if Jeff and I both had individual YouTube channels, we can both go on live at the same time to host a single co-hosted live shopping event. And this would effectively double the draw for the event. So Jeff would bring his audience, I would bring my audience, and then each creator would be able to bring their fan base to the stream. But I see this as a marketer as a good opportunity for co-marketing campaigns and collaborations. So something like, what's a good product that we love on YouTube? So like, Restream, right? Restream, right? So, we do a lot of this anyway because we're a live streaming platform. So I was thinking more of like like your woodworking that you used to do, right? So like if you were to do your woodworking show and I was co-streaming it with you, and I was interviewing you and talking to you about it, and we're both bringing our audience and selling knives and sandpapers and different things that you're using,
right.
That would be a good opportunity. And so if one of the knife companies that you work with was to partner with you on that, then they would be able to bring their audience and highlight you. I think there's just a lot of different opportunities. So I'm curious to see what will happen with this once it does become available. I think it's something that they are, but they definitely have their eye on live shopping and live streaming.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. One of the things, shout out to Grace's company, Restream.io. The cool thing that you can do with Restream Pairs now is share the audiences too. It's not a true collaboration like you were talking about, but it does allow us to share. Like when we have guests on, they share it to their platforms, and it really does help increase the audience. So big shout out to Restream Pairs for that. That's a really cool feature. But yeah, I think it's going to be something for YouTube. And this next feature, you want to go ahead and start with that because it kind of plays right into that. So
there was a lot of YouTube.
There was a lot of YouTube stuff. Yeah. So YouTube's Player also gained some new features, including most replayed, video chapters, single loop, and a couple other things. So Now, YouTube will now highlight the most replayed parts of videos in its web player and mobile apps. This feature was previously available as an experiment for YouTube Premium subscribers, but is launching for all users as of May 18th. So if you don't have it yet, go to your app and refresh and see if it's there. And while creators will often, like what we do for our show, we often segment their longer videos into chapters or link to select parts via timestamps. This new feature aims to make it possible for users to scrub through any YouTube video to quickly find the most interesting parts. Now, these segments may or not always correlate to where the chapters or the timestamps would be located either, particularly in the case of certain video segments going viral, for example. And another added feature is called Single Loop, will now allow users to put an individual video on endless repeat. To access this feature, you select the option from the same menu where you can adjust the video quality, turn on captions, and more. So it's really interesting about this. One of the other things is, I know Luria was testing it on her channel, is that you can kind of do a Twitch thing where you can send after your show like to another channel, which is kind of cool to help build things up. But it's really interesting to me, and we talked earlier about TikTok making it more competitive for other platforms. And I'm wondering some of this is because of TikTok. Because remember, on YouTube, you kind of got benefited from having a longer video. The longer you keep them on the platform, the better. This seems to be kind of edging a little away from that. Like, go to the what's most played, scrub to the most intense part, and that's, I think, come from users' attention spans that are shorter than goldfish now. And so, what do you think about that, Grace? I mean, I think it's interesting, but I don't know if they're trying to play catch up or is this something new? I don't know.
Well, it'd be interesting, and I didn't see this mentioned in any of the stories, but would it allow you to take that most highlighted part and just export it immediately as a short? Like,
well, the things with shorts though is they're vertical video.
Oh, that's true.
I don't know I don't know. So it just seems like YouTube's hedging its bets, and I don't know if that's going to be there's going to be a lot of changes coming to YouTube to become because I believe this last week or somewhere I read that like TikTok's overtaken YouTube in watch time or something like that.
Oh yeah, it has.
And so that's got to make them nervous because, you know, a lot of YouTube and Google as a company's incomes comes from ads on YouTube. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I think that this would be very helpful for, bless you. I think this would be very helpful for if you're creating more entertainment content to figure out what part of that content is repeat that people are watching over and over again, or what what really resonates with your particular audience. So for me, I think as someone who drives our video strategy, I'd want to know what's really getting people's attention so we can make more of it or try to incorporate whatever that is into different things. Or maybe it was just like this little piece of a tutorial. Like a lot of the content we create over at Restream is tutorials, video tutorials on our product. And so maybe it's something that people are just like, oh, what was that again? What was that again? So maybe it gives us information of how to drive our video content.
So here's the question for you. Do you think that it's becoming split between TikTok is where you go for entertainment and YouTube is where you go to find out how to do something?
Oh, I definitely think so. I think YouTube is definitely where you go to learn something, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of home renovation content that I'm attracted to, I'm drawn to on YouTube, right? People that have renovated their kitchens. And I always am like searching in their profile, like, do you have a YouTube channel? Because sure, that's really cool to watch that really fast, work, have you do a closet really fast. But like, I need to know what steps you need to take, right? So I think that when you are creating that tutorial content, I'm going to stick with my home renovation one. You need a YouTube channel so that you can walk people through each individual part, and that's where people are going to stay. That's where people are going to want to watch, and I think YouTube does favor longer content because they can run ads on it, right?
Well, and also YouTube still is where you go to search. It's got the search stuff. It's Google. It's search stuff. Yeah. If TikTok really like dives into search and making discoverability something, right now it feels like it's fed to you. I mean, I know you can go search for stuff, but it's fed, like most of the time people stick on their home screen and just flip their thumb because it's mindless and the next one's just as funny and it keeps going. YouTube's like, how do I replace this doorknob?
Right.
And so I don't know.
The searchability on YouTube, so I can search. I mean, not YouTube, sorry, TikTok, is I can search for an individual person, but then I have to go
Right.
through their whole catalog to figure out what was that thing they said, what was that, or like a hashtag, right? But if
Yeah.
there's no hashtag, and I don't really know who created it, and I have some sense of like what it was about, good luck finding it, right?
Yeah.
Good luck finding it. Whereas on YouTube, like here's the video that you wanted, and here's the clip that you saw, and did you want to watch it again? And by the way, here's 15 other videos about that same topic.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't that, and I think about okay, our friend Roger
Yeah.
Wakefield.
Yeah.
Right?
He's amazing.
Yeah, and like I mean, his content is not something I want to watch on YouTube. Like if I need to fix a toilet, we're gonna talk about this step by step, Roger. We're gonna go step by step. By the way, so
Yeah, he's doing a good job over on TikTok too, like getting you
yeah,
interested in. I mean,
yeah,
some of the stuff that he says, look what I found here, and you're like, oh my gosh, that toilet's horrible, And so, I mean, that kind of stuff is like
right.
he's a genius at this.
Oh my gosh.
So he's very very
But
good.
it's but his stuff is drawing you in. Like it's either drawing you to his business, right? Drawing you to him or drawing you. So like if he
To
finds
the
this weird
trades.
thing, right?
Yeah.
He finds this weird thing. I'm going to go over to his YouTube channel to like go figure out how to fix that weird thing in
Mhm.
my house. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's just it's all about creating a content strategy that works with each other. Like everything
Yeah.
has to feed everything else. So
That's a good point.
I think you need both. You need
Yeah.
both. You
Yeah.
need both.
All right, you're gonna talk about YouTube Shorts because there's some stats that you had that I thought were interesting because, of course, this is a direct, takeoff of TikTok content. So,
Yes.
interesting. Yeah.
So, YouTube revealed that Shorts gains 30 million views per day, but unfortunately, these views do not count towards monetization.
Right.
So let's go. And so, and then also the other update was that YouTube Shorts they're trying to add more of that TikTok feel. They are trying to compete with it, and they're starting to create this green screen feature. So, yeah, I mean that was really the update was that they're trying to actively grow YouTube Shorts. But you pointed out a good thing. You pointed out a good thing. You said that like they're vertical and YouTube is still very horizontal. So I still think you're right. There's still a disconnect between the different kind of videos that you have to shoot for each one. It's almost like you have to shoot the shorts intentionally and it can't really be just
Right.
I mean, I guess you could do a clip if you're editing, but
So I think that one, they've got to really two things, and once again, I'm going back to Pinterest because they wanted to get on the TikTok bandwagon too. They have what they call idea pins, which is short form, vertical content. And what they did is they started really giving that preference in the algorithm, which if you do that, you get shown more and, it's highlighted. And two, they started paying creators to do it. So the big strike to me is that these views don't count towards monetization. And so why would I put my content on YouTube if I could go put it on TikTok and they're doing all this stuff and they're starting to do a creator fund and you can see a little pattern, I think more, or even actually taking that stuff and put it on Pinterest because they're paying,
yeah.
you can actually see like how much you get per whatever.
Yeah.
So I really think YouTube needs to do that. It still feels, and we've talked to some YouTube experts that we've had on the show, and it still feels like they're just trying to figure out still where this thing is supposed to go. I think it's been almost a year or
Yeah.
more. They're like,
Yeah.
what, how, so
Well,
it's interesting.
YouTube being YouTube, they are starting to test ads in shorts to see how that works. So I think that uh, it's going to be something completely separate. So it doesn't count towards your channel monetization, but I think they are starting to like
Right.
test out. So they're testing it as as obviously as an ad space. So
Well,
maybe
and
that was
then this green screen feature, this is totally trying to borrow something from TikTok because that's really popular. A lot of people use it. It's funny, and they want to have the same thing there. So watch Facebook probably is going to have that soon for Instagram. It just it's going to happen. If something works on one platform, they're going to copy it really really quick. So
it'll show up on Instagram immediately.
yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Instagram,
Yes, Instagram. So Instagram news we have here. So Instagram's testing a new stories interface, which could have some big implications for your content strategy. So this is really, really interesting. There's a couple different things that are going to happen. They're expanding I'll let you take this because you probably know more about it, Grace. But this, what they're doing too is they're limiting how many stories that you have too. Are we gonna talk about that later? No, but so
No.
this just rolled out, by the way. They've been testing that they only show 3 of your story panels. You know, and we've talked about this in the show. I'm not a big fan of when you can't even tell it's a dash because there's people have posted so many stinking stories that it's just like a long single, a long line. And you're like, oh my gosh. The only person who can get away with it is like Lou Mangello and Leslie Samuel because they usually share good stories. But I digress. But they're starting to test that you can only have 3, and then they have to click more for you to see it because I guess people were abusing it, or they've seen that people abandon it after 3. So that's going to really change a little bit on how people do their stories, especially like when like I'm getting ready to go to the VidCon and VidFest and PodFest in Orlando. Usually when I'm at a conference, I go nuts with the stories. So
Yeah.
is that going to affect it or not? So that's going to be really interesting.
Well, and it's interesting though because and the way that the stories expire, like they expire over 24 hours, and so if you've got a full day and you've told the story of your full
Right.
day, there's going to be that tail end of that, so it doesn't really make any sense out of
Right.
context or whatever. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I mean, I don't know. I don't really, like you said, it really depends on who the person is. Like if it's someone that's just sharing the same thing over and over again, or it's just ad after, promotion after promotion and not really giving a lot other than that, I'm probably going to unfollow them, but
Yeah. I mean, if
just
they're but it's just weird. 3 is not a lot. I mean,
no, it's
and
not.
then they're going to have like show all that you have to click on the screen to see the rest of them. So it's just really, I don't know. I don't know I think I know what their thinking is. I don't know if it's going to work. So
Yeah,
we'll
I,
see.
I think it'll just be a turn off because I mean, people love stories. Didn't what remember when Peg came on
Yeah.
and she's talking about how like stories is the first thing, it's the most engaging, it's the piece of content that people always love
Hmm.
on Instagram. So I think that like why mess with it? People are loving it. They love it, right? So I
So I
don't know.
think that some of the big influencers will probably start doing 3 stories a day, 3 panels in their stories a day, and then saving stuff and doing it later, or really start to curate it more. So they are testing it right now, but we will see what happens in the long run. So
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. Next up is Instagram is expanding product tags to everyone in the feed. This was initially something that they began testing with US creators and brand, and they're using them to help style their favorite products on Instagram and creating inspiring content for the community. And then you would be able to tag the products within your posts or your story or your videos, and then you would be able to click directly to them and then share the products that you love. So this is something that they are now making available to everyone. And if you want to know how to add a product tag to your Instagram feed, then go to the Instagram blog. It's one of their announcements. So it takes you step by step of how to do this. So I think this is great. I mean, I think that you and I've talked a lot about how Instagram is the place where you go to get inspired,
mhm.
to find products that you love. It's a lot of lifestyle,
Right,
travel,
curating.
a lot, yeah, curating all that stuff. And so why not, if there's something in a product that you can sell and you can link to the product and link to the brand that's selling it, why not? I think that this is great, and especially feeds right into that Instagram audience and what they're looking for.
Yeah, yeah. So next up is the their messaging features. So this new DM feature. So I don't know much about. I don't use. I mean, I do use DMs on Instagram, but not. And it's very select people. I'm not a big DMer. I don't know about you, Grace. What your thoughts are about it? But um, I don't know. They're doing these new DM features. What do you think?
Well, I think it's just the main thing about it is that you can reply while you browse. So you can receive new messages while you're browsing in your feed, and you can reply without going to your inbox. So, for our podcast audience, you remember when you get into Instagram, there's the feed, and then you click on the stories, and that takes up your full screen.
Hmm.
The reels take up the full screen. They want you to take up the full screen. That's where they want to immerse you. But then to go into these DMs, which I don't know, depends on the type of business that you have, may or may not work for you, and you have to go to a whole other screen. So this eliminates that need to go someplace else. I think when it
I
comes,
get them trying to keep you on the platform, but once again, I don't want to be, if it just seemed would be distracting. Like if somebody's coming on while I'm browsing, I like to go, I guess I like to segment my stuff, like
Yeah.
Instagram feed, DMs. I don't want it to, I don't know. I'm just,
You know what?
get off my lawn, Grace. Come
You
on.
know what it reminds me of is like I was having to do a presentation this week for work, and I was in a Google Slides or whatever, and they were like, "Oh, you can now integrate slides with da da da." And I was like, "Shut up! I'm in the middle of doing a presentation,
Right. I'm
right?"
concentrating. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I can't it's one of those product updates, and I don't like this. Maybe someone in product marketing could change this for the all of us in the
Right.
world, but you go into these tools because they're tools for your business. You go into, like, Slack because it's a tool for your business. You
Right.
go all this stuff, and so you're there to do something. You're there to respond to something. I don't need an alert, and so I don't really like this. The other thing about this is that you can quickly send messages to friends, and it shows you when they're online, which I think is a little weird because, like, for someone like you and I who always appear online, but we're not always online. And
Right.
I have this problem with a lot of messaging apps too, where if I'm logged in on one device, like my work computer, and I switch to my phone because it's the weekend, it still shows that I'm available. I'm not available, people.
Leave Grace alone. She's trying to
So,
sleep. She's taking a
yeah.
nap. Leave her alone. So,
But the other thing about DMs is the most effective thing seen in DMs is when people are using like chatbots with it. When you
mhm.
like, I think you asked this question on last week's show about like if you've got a quick question about like what time are you open, what are you, or, when we're talking to Mitch about Bali, like if you have a quick question like what are your hours, do you have this, do you have that, are you open? Those things can be quickly dealt with an app, and I think that's a very useful thing when you're a business on Instagram. I don't do a lot of like personal talking on there. So
Yeah.
personal stuff. So
Reach out to some people, but a lot of people contact me on Instagram, and that's fine. I'll do it. It's just I don't. I just I have notifications off, but when I go in there, I'm like, oh, Gary left me a message. Let me talk to him. I'm over there. So yeah, I think it's I just don't want it to cross over. I like to have my segments. Like
well,
when I eat my dinner, I start with my steak, and I go to my mashed potatoes, and then I go to my peas. I'm very
what
segmented.
do you remember? Okay, this is when like Facebook first acquired WhatsApp, and they had already acquired Instagram, and there was talk about like that inbox where like your Facebook, Instagram, and
There's still
WhatsApp.
secret inboxes they talk about. I still see posts about that, and I'm like, if
I
I
was like,
can't find it, what's the good of a secret inbox?
what a nightmare. I think
Yeah,
that's like, didn't we learn anything from email? I don't answer email.
yeah, and it's reminds me. So it's like because it's funny because my wife, this is her last day at school, and they always clean everything at the end, and they flip over the desks. Oh my gosh, that's what the inbox, the secret inbox is. It's like when you flip over the desk at the end of school and you see all the junk and gum and nastiness
Oh,
that's underneath there. That's
oh,
what a secret inbox is.
okay,
So
guys, do not secret inbox our friend Jeff here. He will
yeah, and
not.
I'll
He will
never
not.
see it. I just will
He'll
stay
never see
away.
it.
Yeah.
He will
So,
not.
all right. The last piece of Instagram news is that they are experimenting. They're testing. They're doing a lot of experimenting. They're testing a full screen home feed. Why? Because that's what TikTok does. Because when you log into TikTok, the first thing you see, besides maybe some ads, is a full screen vertical video. So that's what Instagram is testing too, is offering a similar instantly immersive experience, which brings, this is what they say, is designed to bring video more front and center, and then in parentheses, to be more like TikTok. No, it doesn't say that. But it's, I get it that they're competing and they want to have it there. And I think a full screen is great. I love it when things are full screen. I think it, especially with our big phones that we have now, it's kind of gorgeous and it kind of captures your attention. So I think it'll probably be a good thing for them. What I think will happen is they probably will make it permanent after this test because they'll see that more people like it and use it and spend more time on it. So it's going to make the way photos appear in the feed a little bit different. And that's going to, whenever something changes on Instagram or on socials, the internet melts because they're taking away something that so many people love. So yes, it's going to be change. It's going to cause controversy, but in the end run, the reason they're going to switch it is because the analytics say it works better. So
Well,
Anyway,
I was gonna make a joke about how this is on brand
yeah,
because they did
exactly.
say at the beginning of the year, maybe it was the end of last year, at least track, but that they wanted to be a video first platform. It was all gonna be video all the time. Everything's video. We're gonna prioritize video. And I very much have seen that in my own Instagram experience. So
Mhm.
this seems like it seems like what they're doing. Yeah, whatever happened to IGTV, Jeff?
It's
We
just
still is that
rolled in.
still
It's rolled in now to
just get
Instagram.
there?
That's what they
Right.
say. But it's just like, they are just really copying. I mean, every platform is scared of TikTok. They just
Yeah.
are. I mean, it can. When's it going to stop? When is it going to hit the high? Because it just keeps on rolling. And like we talked about at the beginning of the show, some of the new features they're having, some of the stuff they're going to do for live streams and all like this stuff. And unless one of these other apps kind of gets innovative and creates something really really cool, I just don't. I think they're always going to be second fiddle. They're always going to be playing catch up until they can have something that the youngins really like to have that TikTok doesn't. And so far, Instagram Meta doesn't really have it.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. This was a post I
Uh oh.
saw in my LinkedIn feed, and it was so insightful. It was about all the different platforms. So Facebook is still largely where you go to see family and friends, catch up on like that guy you went to high school with, or that girl, like
Stalking. You're
what
stalking people.
you're
Sorry.
stalking people, right? So it's purely for stalking, and also your uncle's racist rants. But anyway, like just kidding,
Sorry,
just
Uncle Duffy. Yeah.
sorry, uncle. So I and so Facebook is still very much that personal place. YouTube is where you go to learn things. TikTok is where we go for entertainment. LinkedIn, of course, is a professional network. Pinterest is inspiration,
Search. Yeah.
aspiration, search. Yeah, like if you really want to find things and learn how to and it's the longevity and seasonality. What am I missing here?
Snapchat.
Anyway,
People still use Snapchat.
well,
Kids still
people
use
still
it.
to bully each other. But anyway,
Or to take their filters and use it on
to
TikTok.
use it on other platforms. Where do you so everything kind of has its thing that it's known for, right?
Hmm.
What do you think Instagram is like known for? Because it's tried to do everything and be everything for everyone. But what do you think it used to be just like pretty photos and it was an escape, and I don't think it's that anymore.
That's a good question. I think probably it's the platform of influencers. Like if I want to go find famous people, if I want to see what Courtney Cox or Jennifer Aniston is, doing, or Jennifer Gardner, who's cooking amazing things in your kitchen, and she's just amazing, or a band, or something like that, or comedians. I love Jim Gaffigan on
Yes.
and Nate Brzezinski. I think he's on there all the time. I love the comedians, the clips that are happening on Instagram.
Mhm.
I think it's the platform for influencers now. I think
Yeah.
the raw video and funny stuff and cat stuff and all that is happening over on TikTok. The ability to make funny things out of about any clip is pretty cool, with like their sound effects and their trending sounds and music. Just your dog running, putting the right sound effects behind it can be hilarious.
Hmm.
And the apps and the filters are starting to have. I mean, so Instagram, I would say, is the influencers. I don't know how long it's going to last.
Hmm.
Um, it's funny to me that TikTok is making the ability to have longer videos. Like, what is it now? 10 minutes now, I
Oh my
think.
god. Is it
And
10 minutes?
and my kids like, why would you ever watch something for 10 minutes? They couldn't
I don't
believe
know.
it. Like, who cares if they're doing it? Well, I think it's a shot across the bow at YouTube,
Right.
because like you can do it. If you want to have a longer video, come on over to TikTok. We've got short, we got long, we got everything. You don't need to go anywhere else. So, Instagram is just kind of playing in the middle somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, I was just, I saw this post and I was like, huh, I never really thought of it because Instagram's always just been there, right? And I
Right.
think I still have very old feelings for Instagram, right? Because it's been there for so long. I don't know. So that's interesting. Um,
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know who I'm sure it's trending older because all of Meta is trending older. TikTok's where the youngins are, and where things are happening, brand deals are happening. And, it's interesting. It all depends on who you're marketing to, because we're talking about marketing a lot. You've got to really dig into your demographics. Like where am I going to put my ad dollars? Where am I going to put my focus? Is it going to be on the young people. If I'm selling sneakers, I'm on TikTok. If I'm selling, something like dresses, like a sale at Bloomingdale's or something, I would put it on Instagram. If I'm selling, Ensure, or Xlax, I'd probably put it on Facebook and Meta.
So I got
you didn't get that joke even. You were texting. You were on Instagram
I'm not texting. I was trying to figure out who. I was trying to figger out who had I was going to give credit to that post, but whatever. Credit's overrated. TikTok.
That's right.
We don't give credit to originators on this show. We just co-op.
Never mind. You can go back and watch the replay. It was really funny though. So.
Oh.
Folks,
no, say it again. Say it again. I will listen.
No, I said so. The demographics. So I said the demographics for what did I say? For TikTok is like if you were a sneaker company, that's what you want to sell to. If you on Instagram, if you're like having a sale at Bloomingdale's or dresses and stuff like that, would be Instagram. And if you wanted to sell Ensure or Xlax, you would be on Meta.
Okay.
See, that was good. So that was
really good. It was on.
So
point,
you got it twice. The guys listening to the podcast. So.
I got 2 more questions for you, Jeff. Since I never get to just interview you, we're going to make this a conversation. So I was invited to speak on or to be a guest on my friend Fanny Dunnigan's show. She does LinkedIn.
It's a great show.
She does a great show. She was doing a show on her company helps produce shows for companies on LinkedIn. And so she invited me to talk about what else? Social media trends. And I had 2 really good questions in that show that I wanted to bring to Jeff. One was what do you think is the biggest technological advance on the horizon that we should be knowing about as content creators, as marketers, as influencers, what have you? And then the second question was, what do you think is the biggest challenge coming our way?
Whoa. So the first one, what's the biggest tech that is coming?
Yeah, what is the biggest technology?
I think it's so hyped and it's all over the feeds. It's Web 3.0. Everybody's talking about NTFs and all that stuff. I am not so much with NTFs. I think it's something that'll happen. I think it's already like in Fortnite, kids are buying skins and outfitting and putting real money to virtual stuff. I think that's true. Buying a digital Banksy or something like that and having it increase in value because it's owned digitally, I don't know if we're there yet. I think having like skins and add-ons and fun stuff to like games and stuff, that's already here. I don't know about this other stuff. How much is it? It's worth in the eye of the beholder. It's whatever. But so I think that might be overrated. I think there's some interesting things happening, but the VR and the augmented stuff, I think is really going to come. I think that's really actually happening. If you haven't strapped on an Oculus headset yet, it's kind of eye-opening when you do. I don't think it's open for everybody yet, but Apple's developing something. They just announced that this week that there's some cool stuff coming there. It's going to hit, I think, the professional world, like teaching and surgery and, how to do stuff with your hands first. And then and telehealth. I think all that stuff is coming and some of the stuff is already here. It's just not widely adopted. I think that's what's really cool for tech coming on the horizons, where it's going to be a lot more seamless. The headsets will be lighter. We had Mitch Jackson on a couple shows back. He had some really good points about it. He's already using it for his law practice, which he's super cutting edge, and people are like, what? But it's working. So it's coming. As for what we should be aware of, I think the changes that are happening so fast, and you can't get locked into one thing. Like, I remember we were like, I don't know how many years ago, but like, what is TikTok? Nobody understands TikTok. It's too short. It's just for kids. Oh my God. Snapchat was the same way. I remember Snapchat came out. Live video was the same way. Yeah. It's too hard and all this stuff. So I think change and seeing where your demographic is going first. The other thing is like read as much as you can and see where things are going, but read where the users are going, not where the companies say you're supposed to go. Yes. Or the marketers say you're supposed to go. Yes. Where are people? Ask your kids. That's what I love to do. It's like, do you guys even use this? And I'm like, no, I don't even use that anymore. I said, I asked my daughter, and she's a college age, you guys use Snapchat? She goes, yeah, we get the filters. And then, we talk back and forth and stuff. And then we go over here and then we go over here. And so bouncing around, that's the other thing too, is like, I don't think we're going to be like, I just use Facebook or I just use this. I think it's going to be multiple places, but I don't know if that gave you any sort of answer, but
Well, I'll give you the
what do you
answer I
think?
gave. I'll give you
Okay.
the answer I gave. So the biggest technology, I think I was less futuristic than you.
Oh, okay.
You're very futuristic.
I'm
That's why I
sorry.
love you, Jeff. You're very much like thinking about the future. But I think in the immediate future, we're going to be finding more. There's going to be even more technology that allows us to create content and create a diversity of content
Mm,
faster,
yes.
right?
Like the
So
script, like we
like
talked about the script.
Descript.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and the fact that, and Jarvis or
Oh
Jasper,
yeah. Yeah.
Jasper, right? I mean, our friend Molly wrote an entire ad script with it, right? There are entire websites. If you wanna know what we're talking about, go to the Jasper, or maybe they still call it
Yeah.
it's
It's
Jasper community.
Jasper.ai if you want
Yeah.
to go check it out. It's really
But if you
cool.
go to the community on Facebook, I know you're gonna have to like, move past all the X-Lax ads, but swim your way past them and go find their community, and you'll find all the interesting ways people are using this. And I will tell you the truth, I use it to write our captions and descriptions, or I'll write something up and I'll run it through there to like improve it. There's we use TubeBuddy
Mm-hmm.
to improve our the searchability and the keywords for our descriptions on YouTube and everything. So I think we're going to be finding more, and then of course tools like Ecamm, our sponsor, that gone are the days where you can just turn on your mobile, like get on Facebook and be like, "Hi guys, hi, how
Right.
are you?"
Right.
No,
Right.
like now you have this like professional, CNN inspired video
Maybe the
broadcast, and
filters
like
will be so good we don't have to get ready. We could just get on and hit a
maybe
filter. That would be cool.
or maybe we can just take this into the metaverse, and
Yeah,
I can be
avatars.
like a giant like avatar, like I could be like a rhinoceros right now,
Yeah,
and
and yeah, I could be the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or
we could be the
something. Yeah,
same
yeah.
person. So yeah, so I think that was my
So
answer for technology.
I wanted to loop back because when you were talking, one, those were all good things, and I agree
Yeah,
with you. The other thing is I kind of poo-pooed NFTs there, but I think it's great for
no,
creators, like
no,
artists. I think it's a good thing where they can sell stuff, and now they're having options. And one of the persons who I follow and support is Mark Schaefer. One,
yeah,
he's very, very transparent about what he's doing. He's doing it with these creator coins. He's got his own coin. It's called Rise, and you can find it over at rally.io. Rally is kind of the platform it's built on. And it's really interesting to follow him because he's very transparent about what he's testing, what he's
mhm,
trying. It's up, it's down, it's not doing well. Here's why, what's going on. And he's learning along with us. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure you go follow Mark Schaefer. One, he's just brilliant. He's a really cool guy. And also the rally thing that he's doing and with his Rise coin, I think is
yeah.
really, really cool. So, um,
And
so
he's doing it for a good cause too, right? Like
yeah.
there's a charitable
And you can use
aspect as
like
well.
the coins that you invest with him or whatever to get like on his podcast, and I mean all sorts of cool stuff that he's doing. He's doing like a live event. He's like, hey, everybody's talking about Discord. Let's try Discord, and so he's got Discord set up, and so he is one that to follow because he's so transparent. And I think there is some value in supporting creators in that with those kind of the commodities kind of thing that they're doing. So who knows what's going to happen? But it's really interesting to follow. So I wanted to give that little blurb for Mark because he's been a friend of the
No,
show for a while. Yeah.
I appreciate it. So Jeff, you and I both do live video. We're on all sides of it. We produce it, we're in front of it, we talk about it, we talk to other people about it. I get this question a lot, especially because I work for Restream, but what do you think is the future of live video?
I think it's what we talked about today with TikTok. I think it's going to be more and more ways to interact with the audience. So, we tested a long time ago, and we probably didn't need to do another one. We did a Jackbox game where our audience
Yes.
could play along with us. I love that kind of stuff. The more you can have fun with your audience, and also like we try to teach and help people kind of navigate some of this stuff that's happening on social media and business and all this stuff online. And I think the more you can be interactive and kind of gamify it, make it a little bit fun, I think is what's going to happen with live video. You can do that stuff now, but it's usually an add-on, and you have to run this over here
Yeah.
and da-da-da. And I think it's going to be, I think like platforms like Ecamm are going to have it built in where you can
Yeah.
do cool stuff. And so, I mean, you can already do cool stuff with Ecamm, but it's going to be even
Yeah.
more and more ways to interact with your audience. Being able to pull up comments on screen is amazing. And that's why we
Yeah.
use the platforms we do. I think it's going to be more stuff where we can bring in, like we do with Volley and we do with other things, to really get the viewers a part of the show. What about you?
I think that it is going to be more interactive, more immersive. I think people are going to be wanting a smaller, like the leap to being able to see something and then buy it. Like the
Hmm.
smaller you can make that leap, the faster and more immediate you can be for people that are selling products or courses or whatever. I think that it will. The shorter you can make that, the more successful you'll be. Ultimately, I think we talked about this in our show with Mitch, right? We are oversaturated with
Right.
social media, right? And not just social media, because when you think about volley, and please, if you haven't seen that episode with our friend Mitch Dong, please go back and watch it because it is so interesting. Because volley is taking on video conversation, video chats, video communication, like Zoom and Skype.
Hmm.
Remember Skype? Chat, and then also taking away that like social feed. And I mentioned on our show last week that we talked about people talk about Zoom fatigue. They talk about social media fatigue. Chats they don't really talk about because that's more personal. But really, ultimately, what people are going to be looking for is a sense of community and not a sense of like, you know, I'm one of like 15,000 people that are
Right.
interested in you, wanting to clamor for you. Like they really
Right.
want to feel heard. They want to be part of that. So I think the more that you can build community, drive people to the things that they want, inform, educate, and teach with live video, I think that's the future of it's going to be. And I think that our standards for live video is just going to keep increasing, before you can come on and be a little grubby, not really know what you're doing. But now there's so many tools
We
and
still don't know what you're doing. Yeah,
we still don't know.
and we're still grumpy. And we're
We're
still grumpy.
still grumpy,
Yeah.
and we're still grumpy. Yep, we're still grumpy. But yeah, I think that it's going to be a part of our lives, but people are going to be looking for it to be delivering a lot more.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of delivering a lot more, where can people find out more about the amazing Grace Duffy?
I am the video content manager over at Restream. I host our live shows or host and produce our live shows over there. So join us on our YouTube channel, restream.io. Find us on YouTube and you can find me there. I'm also here every week with Jeff, except when I'm not.
That's right. So don't forget that this show is also a podcast. You can just go right over on your podcast player, leave us a rating and review. That would really help us out. And also share it with your friends. Believe it or not, some people do not know that podcasts are free and you can listen to them on your phone. So if you have a friend like that, smack them upside the head and show them how to leave us a rating review and how to listen to our show. We'd really appreciate it. It's on your favorite podcast player. Just go wherever you're listening to this show from. If you're watching the show, well, stop watching it and go over there and give us a rating review on your favorite podcast player of choice. So you can also find us always at Amazon Live, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. And we have our next show, which is Friday, June 3rd at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for watching. Join us, by the way, on Volley. You can find us on Volley at socialmedianewslive.com/chat. That's socialmedianewslive.com/chat. We'd love to continue the conversation with you over there. And with that, we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. And we'll be back live next week.
That's right.
Yep.
How you can quickly add some boom to your Zoom meetings with Ecamm Live. First, you can connect your pro camera and then bring that into Zoom via Ecamm Live's virtual camera feature. So you can add your logo to the corner, and you can even add a QR code or swap it out with your social media handle. In fact, you can drag and drop any image or video, even GIFs. And you can add a PDF, PowerPoint, or Keynote presentation here. So you don't need a videographer, a producer, or an editor to level up your Zoom meetings. You just need Ecamm Live.